Good morning from Southern Berries, USA. Today we're going to be talking about how to be a successful patio blueberry farmer. Now, some of the things we're going to be covering are going to be getting that plant into the pot, what's the proper soil mixture, meeting the nutritional needs of the plant, and that plant's general care. Now, if the space you have to work with looks a little bit like this, then you have nothing to worry about. You've got all the room you need to spread those plants out, put them in the ground, and get them growing. A blueberry can be a large plant, so some people don't think of it as being a good candidate for putting into a container. Well, they can do quite well in a pot, and with care do very well in the pot. So let's say you've got the desire. This is something you really want to do, but you're concerned because the space you have to work with looks a little bit more like this. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to wait for everything to be perfect to have a patio blueberry garden. It's an exciting day. My box from Southern Berries USA has arrived, and I can't wait to open it up and see what all's inside. Now, for the purposes of the video, the potting soil has been left unmixed. I wanted you to see what goes into the soil that we use every day. Peat moss, pine bark, and sand. These are the ingredients that we're going to put together to make our potting soil. Of course, the most important item in the box is the plant. Now, the plant that I'll be using today is a legacy, and the reason for the legacy is because it's a standalone plant. If you're going to just have one plant, you need one that does not need a cross-pollinator, and this is a good one for that. As a matter of fact, this is a very good plant to have with other blueberries because it is a good cross-pollinator and can help you out to produce a lot of berries. Of course, if we're going to be using a container for our blueberry plant, it's not a bad idea to have the container. And the one that I picked out is one that's just simply because I like it. And I have to tell you, it's probably about the smallest size container you should consider for this. This is a 20-quart pot. And one of the things that I did, because I don't have a planting dish here to hold the water, I went ahead and drilled some holes around the bottom. Just in case this thing gets in a bad rainstorm, we don't want this pot filling up with water. We want the water to be able to drain away and get away from the plant. So, let's talk about what we're going to be putting in this pot and the reasons for each one of those things. We mentioned earlier that peat moss. Now, peat moss is going to be our number one element in this. And the purpose of the peat moss is, one, it's going to help hold the water in the soil. And the other thing is it also is going to help lower the pH of the soil. Blueberries need a very low pH, and if you can get it down around 5, that's going to be a happy plant. Now, another item that I like to put in is very fine ground pine bark mulch. Pine bark does pretty much the same thing as the peat moss, except it's a little bit better at lowering the pH. Now, the other element that I like to put in is sand. Blueberries like to be wet, but they don't like to stay wet for very long. So the purpose of the sand is to help wick that moisture away from the plant and get it away until you get it watered for the next time. Now, let's get this all mixed up in the pot here, and we'll get our plant going. Now, I will tell you that if you decide that you would like to get some potting soil from Southern Berries USA, it'll come mixed. You don't have to do this part here. I just wanted you to see what we put into our potting soil and the purpose of each one of those items. The potting soil is sold by the quart. Having done all that, now we get to the part that we really look forward to doing. So we want to dig out a hole in the center of the pot. And one of the things that I'm not as worried about is creating a bowl around the plant as I would if I were putting it out into the yard. So we're going to take the plant, put it in, and you would like to put this at the point where the topsoil meets the top edge of the plant that it was in the pot. We do want to go ahead and break up the root a little bit, so we'll encourage this to start spreading out through the pot. Now, one of the things that you do want to do is you want to pack this in pretty good. You don't want to leave pockets of air around the root ball. To do that discourages some of the root growth and can actually cause damage to the roots. Well, now the last thing to do is to water this plant and to go ahead and start off with a little bit of fertilizer. Now, I like to use the Miracle Grow for container plants, and specifically for blueberries, get the stuff that calls for azaleas and rhododendron. The reason is because that's an acid-loving plant type of fertilizer, and we're going to go ahead and soak it down pretty good. But I'm only going to put a half a gallon in it for the moment. Go ahead and check the soil one more time. Push everything down. There you have it, the start of your patio blueberry farm. Keep it watered and fertilized, and it will produce many berries over the years. Well, it's getting towards the end of the day here at Southern Berries USA. If you have any questions, just send me an email, tim@berriesusa.com, or go to southernberriesusa.com for information on the care of your plants, canning supplies, soil testing kits, and of course blueberry and blackberry plants. So just remember, if it's in the field or on your patio, you can be a successful blueberry farmer.